Hello everybody. How's everybody doing today? It is October the 18th and it is the No Kings Band playing. But in Canada, we call it No Tyrants. And I don't have a blow-up costume, so this will have to work. So there you have it. That's my participation in the No Kings rally, because best I can do up here. There are no protests near me, so that's my sign. Here's your sign. Okay, are you ready? Ooh, hang on. Get all of them on, right? How's that? Better? All right. If you're new to this channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Like me, love me, share me. Don't forget to subscribe. Hangers on. Mwah. Thanks for hanging on and coming back time and time again. So, what shall we do today? Well, we're going to talk about tyrants and how they run stuff. Going to get into a little bit of those young Republicans. Are you ready? Let's get into it. So, you know your administration is in serious trouble when they pull off the Band-Aid and they show you those scabs they have been covering up for years. This week, Politico received over 2,900 leaked chat conversations. Am I showing my age here? Anyway, these types of people have been around the fringes for years and years and years, just talking amongst themselves. Cheers, dears. However, they were just around the fringes. Now, they're out of the shadows and proud to show up. They're in plain view now. These trolls have made it to the lofty heights of the inner workings of the GOP. Not that they weren't there already, come on. They know they are saying shit that is so evil that one of them even said, "Ooh, we'll be in big trouble if this gets out." The guys, and a few gals I might add, actually work within the RNC and for sitting senators and congressmen. One sitting GOP congressman actually had an American flag over his right shoulder, and in the center of it was a swastika. Yeah, right in the center. Guys, I don't know how that got there. It's your office. You're looking in the camera. I can see that. If I seen a swastika there, I'd be ripping that shit down. I wouldn't have left that up there. So if you are anti-fascist, this shall bother you. Obviously, it's just another day that ends in Y for the RNC and the GOP, because some of this chat is truly vile, and my anti-fascist father and uncles and aunts, I have a few that served, fought to keep that evil from our shores. But guess what? So here is some of the text. One guy, Andrew Torba, is the CEO of a chat site or one of these things, I don't know what you call them, called Gab, G-A-B. And he said that group chat was tame. They have no idea what's coming next, meaning the rest of us have no idea what's coming next. I think we got a little bit of a clue. Replying to Torba's post was one comment that said Adolf Hitler was legitimately moderate. Another said, "My Zoomerwaffen will show no mercy," which is a reference to the Waffen SS, a combat branch of the Nazi paramilitary forces. They refer to themselves, Gen Z, as Gen Zyklon, Z-Y-K-L-O-N, which is a chemical pesticide that was used in the chambers. They say these things as a sort of proving ground, and they say vile shit when they aren't called out. That to them gives them permission to do more. Once they get the permission they seek, they will ramp that up. So to me, there doesn't seem to be a line that they won't cross. They first test this shit out on these chat sites or whatever, and they test their limits with their friends. If their friends don't say, whoa, you got a bit far there, dude. If their friends don't call it out, they just spike it up again to another notch. Because again, permission granted. The people in this particular chat are in official positions in the GOP. A staffer of Ron DeSantis during the last presidential election posted a picture of Ron DeSantis' face, and superimposed over that was Nazi images. Did Ron DeSantis fire him? No. The campaign fired him, but Ron said nothing. He was okay with it. But he's okay with those nizzies outside of Disneyland or Disney World as well. So there you go. All dressed out, fully kitted with their flags and whatnot. Apparently, this garbage has been circulating among young Republican elites in Washington for, at least 10 months. And it is filtering into state politics as well. So when you have the Vice President of the United States of America stand up in in the Young Conservatives chat site, website, whatever the hell. But anyway, when he stands up and passes this stuff off as boys will be boys, to me, that's the dog whistle to these neo guys that it's okay. It's not a problem. It's just boys being boys. First off, shady couch pants. These were not kids telling dirty jokes in the locker room or telling dirty jokes in the dive bar. No offense to dive bars. Spent a few years in them myself. Had a bunch of good times. These folks are 45 and under in that age group. And most were I think they were between 29 and 37. I don't know. But don't quote me. These are all aspiring politicians. They're all old enough to become politicians, so I guess they got to be 29, right? Politicians, lobbyists, campaign managers, chiefs of staff, and communications professionals, just with more Carol Lyings out there. We already know that Shady Couch Pants is okay with bigotry and racists because when his own base called out his wife and his beautiful young boys, they're so cute, they called them out of their name. And you, Shady Couch Pants, did not stick up for your wife or those beautiful boys of yours. So what'd you teach them in that moment, Shady? What'd you teach them? You taught them that they could not rely on their father to stick up for them. That's what you're teaching them. By going out and doing all this stuff, that's what you're teaching them. In my opinion, for entertainment purposes only. So, go back to the Young Republicans' New York chapter. According to The Guardian, an article written by Olivia Empson, she writes, the Young Republicans State Committee suspended the authorization of their Young Republicans chapter after its members were implicated in a highly offensive and racist message chat that Politico had published. The aim of the organization, they say, was to recruit young voices to the GOP and encourage them to run for office. You know, they were doing that shit right under your gaze, and you didn't care then. Why would you care now? Now comes the whitewashing and stuff. The Young Republicans was always grossly mismanaged, and vile language of that sort made in the chat has no place in the party or its subsidiary organizations. Come again? But your Speaker of the House gets in front of a whole bank of microphones and says shit out, like calls Democrats communists, radical leftists, Antifa criminals, thugs. You're okay with that? It's your party. Because that is the script that you guys read out ad nauseum. And you choose to repeat that garbage for the mango moose knuckle because you're all chicken shit. You're all chicken shit. Nobody will stand up to that asshole. If they did, he would have been gone long ago. If you don't want to be called fascists, then don't raid neighborhoods in the middle of the night and having masked men friggin' repel from helicopters, all masked up, no ID, no warrants, and taking families out of a large apartment complex, a couple hundred people, in the middle of the night, zip tie their hands together, take babies, some were naked, and zip tie their little hands together and put them in a separate, and it wasn't U-Hauls, it was budget rent a van or whatever, it was budget. And put those babies all together in one of those budget things, close the door. How scary would that be? And have their parents gone away from it, and they're just all zip tied together with their little wrists hurting. Don't have your private police asking people on the street after you charge them, come running at them and screaming, "Where's your papers? Where's your papers?" That was done in the 1930s. When someone looked like they may have been other, or they talked like they may have been other. Now, Bobby Walker, who was just made chairman of the New York division of Young Republicans, said in a chat, if we ever had a leak of this chat, we would be cooked, FR, FR, and I'm thinking that FR stands for reals, for reals. Just saying. Then he went on to describe the mass APE, of indigenous peoples as epic. Peter Jagunta, whatever, a former chair, posted, "I love Hitler." And others called black people monkeys and watermelon people, and joked that they would like to put political opponents in the gas chambers. I'm just going to say it. The fallout has other young Republican chapters closing, like Kansas. They've disbanded theirs. And the remark was, their comments do not reflect the beliefs of Republicans, and certainly not Kansas Republicans at large, because we recently elected a black chair a few months ago. Do you not see the racism in that? So they say, oh, look, we have a black chairman. Can we move on now? Fucking hell. Now, they don't see that that's bigoted or racist. A PragerU influencer. Oh, PragerU. Oh, fuck you is more like it. After watching the left lose their foothold due to radical behavior and rhetoric of the fringe left, I would hate to see the right fall under that same feat. It is important to disassociate our party from that sort of unprofessional, cringeworthy, and hateful behavior. Too late, doofus. Too late. Way too late. Your Royal Weenus in the White House there, he's their professor, and he graduated his extreme base to this level and gave them all diplomas so they could do this stuff, and you don't seem to call that shit out. So you are equally unprofessional, cringeworthy, and agree with the bigoted, hateful behavior. Remember when the President of the United States, his microphone didn't work and he had it in his hand and he did this? Remember he was doing that to the mic? So presidential, so professional. So you know that all the tyrants in Washington that are running the joint, all their people are running. Pam Bondi's chief of staff. See you later, chickie. Gone. Got an admiral in the Southern Command that put in his resignation because I guess he just couldn't stand all these illegal unalivings of up to, 27 people now? Yeah. When he's been a full admiral for just over a year, so he's going to retire December 12th. You got a full bird colonel, said, not doing this shit. I know a lot of people are saying that somebody needs to stick around because they'll put somebody in those positions that will follow those orders. Well, there will be trials, and just following orders is not an excuse. It's not. Following orders is not an excuse. So, ladies and gentlemen, Nina loves you. Be good, be safe, and please take care of you and your little koala buddy. I love you so much. Like me, lovely, share me. Don't forget to subscribe. Hangers on. Mwah. Take care of you first so you can take care of somebody else. And I hope everybody had a safe, fun day out there today. And I was thinking about you. I really was. So take care of you first. I love you all. Mm-hmm.